Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Devin from Watson Wood Art. I'm probably best known for the mandalas I do, which is why I'm doing this video now. Honestly, I think it's the way I do it. I know like a lot of new wood burners will start off transferring. It's a good way to get really clean lines to get your design on the wood without, drawing experience, right? But so I'm going to show you a way you can actually design something yourself directly onto the wood, and you can kind of tailor it to your comfort level, your level of experience. Really, you just need to be able to use a few simple tools, a ruler, pencil, obviously, a compass, and a protractor. And yeah, I'm going to show you the general layout, and then there's so many possibilities you can go from there. Okay, so first off, I'm going to be using this just a little wooden circle here. It's about 5 inches across. And the first step that I take when designing a mandala is finding the center. So how I like to do that is a handy trick here. If you take your ruler and then pick a length, doesn't have to be any particular length, so I'm going to use 10 centimeters as a nice easy number to remember, and then we'll draw a line from one side of the circle to the other, and then just mark the center there. See that? And then we'll pick another spot on the circle, doesn't matter where. What's important is that you use the same length again. So we'll draw another 10 centimeter line from edge to edge and then mark the center again. And then I'm going to take the protractor, line that up with our center line so we have 90 degrees perpendicular to our first lines here. Mark that. And then draw a straight line from the 2 points we've just marked. Make sure to draw these lines lightly, as we will be erasing them. They're just to find the center. If you want to keep them, incorporate them, feel free, but I won't be. So draw another perpendicular line, and where our two lines intersect, we have our center. Just so you guys can see that. So like I said, two lines, same length, just from edge to edge on any parts of the circle. Draw a perpendicular line halfway from these two lines. Where they intersect is the center. Now we've got that. Like I said, we can just get rid of these lines and just keep our center. If you want to double check that it is the center, you can take your ruler, measure from the center out to the edge at any point, and just make sure they're all the same. So we've got just over 6 centimeters everywhere there, so we're all good. And my next step, last little bits. So we're going to cut the circle in half 2 ways to start off. So if you're, depending on the piece you're using, it might have more or less prominent grain. It's good to try to line up the grain, whether you want the grain to go vertically, or whether you want the grain to go horizontally. It can look kind of weird if you line it up offset with the grain. So we'll just try to eyeball where our line is here, where we want to line things up with. And then I'll make some marks at 90 degrees and 0 and 180 over here. And then we can connect those lines go. And do our other one. All right, so now we've got sort of a plus sign. We've divided it into quadrants. So yeah, essentially what I'm doing here is I'm just measuring everything out. I'm laying it all out so that we can kind of fill in the blanks. So you don't have to have any kind of specific idea of what you want this to look like. You can sort of construct it as you go. That's one thing I really like about doing mandalas, is that they can kind of evolve organically. You can start with a very vague idea, with a shape you really like that you want to incorporate, or no idea at all. Just go for it. Start drawing lines and circles and see where it takes you. And guarantee if you follow that to the end, it will turn out better than you expect. Okay, so to start, I'm just going to draw some circles. So like I said, you only need a ruler, a protractor, a compass, and a pencil, but some other things come in handy. So I've got this little circle stencil here with a bunch of different size circles, all the way from 2 millimeters to 34 millimeters. It's a bit easier than using a protractor for the smaller ones sometimes. So I will just pick a size I like for the center. Maybe we'll do a 20 millimeter circle, 2 centimeters. Line that up and draw our circle. And then let's go to the biggest size we have here, 34. Line that up. Draw another circle. I just noticed my comments weren't updating, so I haven't seen most of your comments. Hello everyone, thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful to you. If you're just joining, I'm demonstrating how I design my mandalas. Yeah, so we've got a couple circles here, and then from here, you know, you can keep drawing circles if you want to do some different lines here to divide it up, sort of like a pie. We can do that. Actually, I'll just do that here too. I'm kind of all over the place when I make these sometimes. Just, I have an idea and I just go with it. So let's see. We will divide this up into each quadrant into thirds. So we'll go at 60, we'll go at 30 there, and then 120 and 150. You can do that on the other side too if you want to, but to get the line all the way across, you only need one side as long as you've measured it properly. We'll go across like that. So as you may have guessed, this can take some time if you're doing it, especially on a larger piece. And you can do this freehand if you want to, if you're confident in your drawing skills, but this will keep everything nice and neat, and like I say, kind of allow you to just fill in the blanks. I'm gonna draw a couple more circles here with the protractor. Very simple. Just line up the center. Choose the size. And I always find it easier to turn the piece itself when doing this. There we go. Maybe let's do one more almost out to the edge here for a bit of a border. Okay, and that's that as far as the layout goes. Like I said, you can change this up to whatever you feel like. Do more circles, less circles. You don't have to do all these lines if you just want everything to be uniform. I like to divide it into these pie slices, because then what you can do is decide how you want one of these pie slices to look, and then it's just a matter of duplicating it for every single one. Or you can vary it. You can do one design like this, another design like this, and then alternate. Like I say, there's a lot of freedom with this kind of drawing and designing. So I'm just going to start drawing some shapes in here. So I always like to try to create a sense of depth, which is what these lines that come to the center really help with. And then making your shapes fit those really helps with that as well. So I'm just going to start drawing some little circles in here. This is great practice if you want to practice drawing circles. You'll draw a lot of them. If anyone has questions or anything, feel free to ask in the comments. I won't be doing any burning on this stream, but in 2 weeks I will burn this design using my Coalwood Super Pro that I got from Bear Woods. It's a great machine. I absolutely love it. Highly recommend it to anybody who's looking at getting a burner. Super Pro is what I use. You can also use the Detailer if you want something a little more affordable. They are both great machines. Alright, there's our center done. You can see how the circles kind of draw the eye right to the center there. So like I say, you can do it in circles like this, or you can design the whole thing straight out. I tend to do a combination, like I say, depending on the ideas I have. Yeah, I also like to do a lot of more organic shapes here, so maybe we'll do something like sort of a leaf shape there. Can everyone hear me? I've just realized I have filmed videos where I've forgotten to turn the microphone on, so I just want to double check. Awesome. Thanks, Randy. Nothing worse than filming a video and then realizing you had your microphone muted the whole time. Don't worry too much if you're drawing things like this about getting every single shape perfect. you know, it's tough to do that. You can get it pretty close, but honestly, imperfections are not as noticeable as you might think, especially to other people looking at your work. And you can even that out once you start burning. So as long as they're basically the right shape, you should be fine. So you also, I've drawn these, like I said, these pie slices, but you don't have to stick to just filling them in. We can also do things along this line too. So maybe I want a shape like this to vary up the pattern a bit. And then once we get into these bigger ones, you can see how in these sections there's some space. I filled these up pretty well, but in these sections and these sections there's some space. So you can just kind of see what space is left to you. I like to fill them in with circles. I really like circles. They create a really cool effect when you've got a lot of circles in a design like this. They're so simple, but when it's all together, it's really something else. Also, you can see I'm using a mechanical pencil here. I like to do that because, as you can see, a lot of this is quite small that I'm drawing here. You don't have to, of course, do it as small as I'm doing, but I want to be able to demonstrate burning some really, really tiny, intricate stuff when I do the burning demo in 2 weeks. I like the mechanical pencils for this because you don't have to sharpen them all the time. Well, I am not a sketch artist or anything, so don't take my opinion on actual sketching too seriously. Alright, there's that. Keep going on these. Alright, just gonna fix this guy up here, it's a little lumpy. Okay, starting to get there. I sometimes like to sort of mirror designs that I've done here. So here I've got this pointing up. I might just do something that points down to it as well. It's just one more thing that I feel like creates a sense of motion in these mandalas. It's a really interesting way to explore how different shapes interact and how they look together in different configurations. Like I said, as far as the shapes to use, you can get some really cool results with just simple shapes. Or you can, what I like to do is I keep an eye out when I'm out and about in the world, and if I see a really interesting shape and I have a sketchbook on me or something like that, I might try to sketch that out and keep it in mind for use on a mandala. Okay. Going to draw some shapes here to try to accent this circle we've got on the outside here. And these, if you've never drawn a mandala, it's a very meditative process. I think so, at least. Maybe not everybody would feel the same, but I certainly do. Okay. We might leave that ring at that. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do in this ring, so I might just move to the outside here. I think what I'm going to do is draw some circles on the lines. Should go the other way. Like I said, you can always, if you get stuck in one spot, but you have an idea for something else, let's move on to that, and then slowly there will be less and less space you need to fill in, and the design itself will start to narrow down your options for what you have space for and what might actually look good. And if you get really stuck, just pick a shape, stick it in there, see how it goes. A bit bigger. I'm going to do, let's see, do a smaller one in the center. Okay, I'm going to draw kind of a wiggly shape here. Oh, it's a bit wonky. There we go. So with this shape, all I've really done, you can see I've laid out these circles, and then I'm sort of, like I said, just filling in the blanks, letting the other shapes influence how the rest is formed. So you don't have to come up with this shape just off the top of your head. Maybe let's do another smaller circle there. There we go.
I'm not very excited. There's no reaction to that. I listened to a podcast of people saying that, and I was like, oh my god, that's just not right. That's good. And blah, blah.
One thing to watch out for when you're doing shapes like this is you can slowly get away from your original shape if you're comparing what you're drawing to the one you previously drew, and you make small little changes every time you draw it. By the time you get back around, you can actually result in a pretty different shape from what you started out with. So it's always good to take a look back at your first one and make sure that you're still drawing the same essential shape. Okay. Yeah, Linda, that's I do that sometimes. It's a good way to keep it consistent. Sometimes I've found I start with one shape, get distracted, well, I'm halfway around and it's changed into a different shape that I actually like better, and then I'll go back and erase what I've done and change it to what it's kind of morphed into. Like I say, these can be very organic, and just as you sketch, you'll have different possibilities that you'll become aware of that you can incorporate into your design. Okay, we're almost done that. Okay. I think I might do something fairly simple here. Let me see. Maybe just do some circles. Let's see how big we... Right. Again, this circle guide is very handy. Like I say, I like my circles. Oh, that's not 18. So I'm just lining up the stencil here with my lines. You can get other stencils like this with all kinds of different shapes if you want to. Well, really, you can use whatever you can think of as a guide. I'm often for circles are just a bit larger than this stencil. I often just find like jar lids or I don't know, anything else circular, my pencil sharpener sometimes. I also like to use this triangular sort of ruler sometimes if I want to create really even pointed shapes. Whatever you can think of. Oops. Go. And so this design isn't something I had really any plan for. Like I say, I just knew the layout that I was going to use and then just started from the center and filled it in from there. Well, you don't have to start from the center, of course. You can start from wherever you want. Alright, I think we'll just fill this in. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, you can see with these triangles, I'm just taking this empty space that's left here. I could connect these all into one, but to me it's a bit more interesting if it's two. Or you could turn that space into 3 shapes, 4 shapes, as many as you can fit, if that's what you want to do. Do you want to try to drive yourself a little crazy, like I do sometimes? Also, I like to do these larger bands that contrasts with all the really intricate detail at the center here. It makes it, to me, it makes it seem even smaller, even more detailed and intricate, because you have the contrast with the big shapes on the outside. Okay, and that is that. There it is. You see that design? Like I say, I just laid out the, I found the center, I drew perpendicular lines, I used the protractor to draw my angles here, I used a stencil and a compass to draw the circles, and then filled in the blanks. So let me move this back. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully that was helpful. If anybody tries drawing their own mandala, burns it, I would love to see it. Yeah, in 2 weeks, I'll be back on the Bearwoods Facebook page with a live stream where I'll be burning the design I just drew. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in a bit.